misleading to claim that this trip, or the way that I'm telling it, has a traditional narrative structure. There isn't really a clear beginning, middle, and end. There's not really a rising action, climax, falling action. It's just a sequence of events.
And yet, at the same time, this video is a story. It's a story of perseverance and mental toughness through extreme exhaustion and illness. It's a story about weather and hurricanes. It's a story about father-son relationships and about exploring the beautiful glory of God's creation. It's a story that is minute in itself, but it's also part of a much larger story. As I wrote 2 years ago, for the beginning of the video, very similar to this one, I find myself at the beginning and culmination of a dream. At the start of a molecular story, and at the beginning of some grand organism that has been long looked forward to. I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I enjoyed looking forward to it and making it.
So we are headed down there into the Illilouette Creek area, and we'll have a bit of a descent and then a long, slow climb ahead of us. And then we'll cross over these mountains that are hidden by the trees. And then, I gotta drop down here so you can see. And then we're gonna come back down this valley to the right of Half Dome. This will be our way out of here. With a side trip, of course, onto Half Dome. Okay, so what's our situation now, Dad? It's what, 12:45?
12:45, we're finally on the trail. Cruising along the mountainside, somewhat downhill. Feeling like gravity's our friend. And we are currently trying to outrun a hurricane that's going at 25 to 30 miles an hour our way.
Yes, the Hurricane Hillary, which by the time it hits California is a tropical storm, is on its way to us. The rain and heavy rain for that is supposed to start anytime between now and about 3 o'clock. So we're just trying to get as far as possible before that happens. When it finally gets to us, we'll have a decision to make. Do we keep going through it, or do we set up camp and just sort of wait it out? It's supposed to rain through pretty heavily through midday tomorrow at least, so we might be hunkered down for quite some time. And that is how a hurricane of all things is impacting our plans. Nevada and Vernal Falls down there. Welcome to camp for night number 1. We didn't make it quite as far as we had originally intended today because, surprise, we forgot our tent stakes. So Dad is actually on a grand adventure right now, taking a jog back to the trailhead. It's about 3.5 miles there, so a 7-mile round trip run for him to get some tent stakes for us. We've got this sort of jerry-rigged up right now using sticks, but that's not super secure, and we can't guarantee that the soil in our future campsites will be soft enough for us to use that same strategy. So we're here. Just about 3.5 miles in, as we said. It kind of works out because then we can hunker down, weather the storm, and then hopefully continue the trip when the rain has chilled out tomorrow at some point in midday or so. But for now, here's home sweet home. Okay, Dad has returned from his glorious adventure. Slightly soggier for the wear.
Tad bit, not too bad. It was sprinkling.
A little tired. But we have steaks now, which is exciting. We're making some dinner. A certain sister who shall remain unnamed, at least for the moment, keeps wanting to know about the food setup. So I have quinoa burritos. Today we have quinoa in here, we got ground beef. We got a bunch of things that I forget what was in here because I made these like 4 weeks ago.
Corn and beans.
And we got some tortillas, we got some Fritos to make some burritos. There's way more stuff in here that can go in 2 tortillas, so it's basically gonna be 2 burritos and then just finish the rest with a spoon. But mine's going right now. I forgot to start the timer, so I'll do that now. And Dad's water is boiling. We're gonna have a delicious meal. All right, my tortillas are all dried out because I stored them with the dehydrated food, so they absorbed all the moisture. So this is gonna function more like a giant chip. But let's see. I haven't tried this one yet. This one's brand new to me. Yeah, it's just broken out.
Giant chip.
Tastes like tortilla. Let's try a bite just with the spoon.
It's definitely soupy because I added so much water.
Yep, I think that was a success. The quinoa is a little overpowering, with maybe a little too much. Yours might have more flavor, Dad. I think you had a little less quinoa. But that tastes good. All right, we are getting real friendly with each other in here. But we're more or less dry, and we're well fed.
Yes.
And that is going to be it for a day number 1 that did not go as planned, but was good nonetheless. See you tomorrow. Good morning. We survived the hurricane, and it was basically nothing. It rained all evening and all night, but it was never a heavy rain. There were never any strong winds, and it's not raining now at 6 a.m. And there's quite a bit of blue sky that is starting to poke out. So the most recent forecast that we had available to us was from about a day and a half ago, and I'm pretty hopeful that that forecast was pretty overblown. There could always be more rain coming. That's not something we can really tell, but so far so good. We'll see if we can make it a little farther today than we did yesterday.
Ow.
Wow. Not good, is it? Oh, shoot. Damn. All right, we're gonna do some medical attention. All right, well, after you got to watch me rip my scab off live, now we're ready to go. And I don't know if you could see this, but we're just gonna try and let it air dry for now and see if it clots itself properly. It's about 2 weeks old. Sorry you gotta look at it, but that's the way things are right now. But we're off. Let's talk about what we did yesterday and about what the plan is for today. We started at the Glacier Point trailhead with that incredible view overlooking the valley and Half Dome, and then we continued south along the Buena Vista Trail toward Lillooet Basin. This is where we're camped, or rather where we did camp that first night after the really short day. Like I said, pretty basic stuff. This morning, we start by crossing a little creek, and then we follow it to the southwest for quite some time toward Merced Pass until we get to the Merced Pass lakes, which I'm really hoping we can have some time to take a nice breather there. From that point on, we continue northeast toward the Ottaway Lakes and to Red Pass. Red Pass, our plan is to head up to first thing tomorrow, but for tonight, we're gonna stop just shy of Ottaway Lakes. We're not gonna quite get there because Ottaway Lakes are past the elevation point for Yosemite National Park at which you're allowed to have a fire. And we would really like to be able to have a fire tonight if possible.
That's strong.
Nice work.
I came down to check out this river last night while Dad was off getting the steaks, and it was much, much lower. It's very much swollen by the rain. It probably wasn't higher than knee height, maybe mid-calf yesterday afternoon. But now it was almost up to my waist.
Yes. Okay.
Nice work.
Brisk.
It'll wake you up.
Yes, sir.
All right, nice job.
All right.
That is Mount Star King.
The whole thing's fake, it's staged.
There's a whole lot of peekaboo blue around. Oh, some even right above us. But a whole lot of ominous gray remaining as well. Yeah, it's so tough with that. See if you can just take these. I'm just gonna crawl. It is so evident that fire is just such a common and natural part of life here. There's evidence of burn every single place we go. Whether old burn, just a burnt log with a bunch of stuff growing over it that's maybe 100 years old, or something like this that is extremely fresh. Almost no undergrowth has started to regrow here. It's just everywhere. Some of it natural, some of it's the way things are supposed to go, but some of it's more extreme. Climate change, 100 years of fire suppression policies that built up all the fuel so that when there are fires, they're much bigger. But it's pretty nonetheless. Look at this incredible wildlife. Oh my goodness. Oh, I think he's gonna charge. You've made it to Lower Merced Pass Lake, which is just slightly off trail. to have a bit of a rest. The main lake is beyond this main patch of green. You can't really see it, but that granite wall comes all the way down to it.
You say you wanted me to toss this too? What? Were you wanting me to toss this too? Okay, ready?
Unnamed lake just below Lower Ottaway Lake, and we'll be setting up camp somewhere in the general vicinity tonight. We have found home sweet home for the night in a pretty sweet location. You can see, well, you can't actually see very much behind us because of all the clouds. We're hearing a lot of thunder over the horizon. We had hoped all the rain was behind us, but I don't have a ton of faith in that now. We haven't been more than sprinkled on today, and not more than a few minutes at a time, but who knows what happens at night. The tent goes a lot better when you have stakes, and also when you've done it before. I also added a bunch of guy lines to the rain tarp, which really has made the setup look so much better. Behind me, you can see some of the mountains that we're going to be climbing up tomorrow. Let me see. That spot with the sunshine on it to the left, I think we're going right up. There's a nook behind one of the ridges that you can't see, and that's the path we're going to. So we'll have a really good climb right at the start of tomorrow, and then until we hit Half Dome, it will be all downhill from there. But it was a very long day. Today was a really good example of what we'll call the diversity of experience in the backcountry. We were expecting to continue to get rained on, through noon, through 2 o'clock potentially, but the rain stopped at 5, and we only saw very light, very brief sprinkles all the way up till now, which was awesome. We were going through beautiful country. It really felt like today was how the trip was supposed to go. Yesterday, we only got a little bit in. We forgot stuff. Dad had to run back. And a lot went wrong. We got rained on. We didn't set the tent up properly. Everything got pretty wet. Whereas today was the exact opposite. We were mostly dry. We finally got to really get into the backcountry and see some of the incredible beauty out here. Do what we came here to do. And that was incredible. On the other hand, today was absolutely brutal. We did 12 miles straight uphill the entire way. I meant to look up how much elevation we gained. I'll put it in a subtitle. It was a lot. We're sitting at 9,500 feet right now. For my family, for reference, that's, I think, slightly higher up than Sam and Karina's cabin in Colorado. But those last 4 miles were just brutal. And especially for Dad, who ran another 7 miles yesterday to go get the steaks. It was tough, and we were feeling it. I got exhausted just going to pump water at camp today. And tomorrow we start off the day straight up with 1,500 feet of game to get over the pass. After that, however, it's all downhill, so we have that to look forward to. But brutal, brutal day. Wonderful, wonderful day at the same time. And now there's a whole lot of wind moving through. There's been some sprinkles moving through. We've seen some thunder on the horizon. And so we're just mostly hoping that the good weather holds overnight, and so that when we pack up, everything can be dry. We intentionally camped at 9,500 feet instead of going on farther above 9,600 because we can have a fire here, which is awesome. We got one going right now. We weren't able to have one last night because of all the wet. So that's one of those little luxuries that can completely change a day. All right, tell me about what you're doing.
This is brown sugar and maple oatmeal out of the packets with raisins and walnuts in it. That container is a peanut butter container, and we're just going to add water the night before, let the oats absorb all that water, and then in the morning it will be a hearty breakfast. Perhaps a bit chilly, but who cares? We'll be hungry.
How would you describe today?
Today was an adventure from the very beginning. When I got up and it was still gray outside, it wasn't pitch black, but it was gray. And got to do some exercises to loosen up, and then actually snuck back in the tent and laid down and hung out. Yeah, that was cool. And then getting rolling and having the experience of a full day backpacking with not a heavy pack, but it felt heavy, was a tail kicker. And but that was sort of minimized by the unbelievable waterfalls, the ridiculous just scenery, especially now that we're up at near the top. But seeing the waterfalls, I mean, I said that the creek, as the map called it, just was the creek that kept on giving. It was like second cousin Junior's Little Creek, some fancy name like that, because you got the impression that it would have a little bit of water, but no. Amazing stuff. And water, I don't know, for our family, we're always attracted to places that have spectacular water, and this did. And mountains are really cool here. There's no undergrowth like in the Northwest, which kind of clogs things up and makes it harder to see stuff. So yeah, and just as we thought it was about to rain on us in setting up camp, rain went away and big thunder clouds blew over towards where all the people are, and we got just nice wind drying everything off, and nice sunshine drying some of our stuff out. So I'm thankful. I'm really glad to be here with Daniel and get a chance to experience this for the first time, both of us together. He's guiding because he knows what he's doing, but it's a team effort. That's about it.
For anyone who is not a member of our family, who are you?
I am Daniel's father. My name is Marvin Earl Gray.
Oh, that's deep.
Okay, dinner tonight is dehydrated corn chowder, to which I did not make with bacon, but added bacon bits too afterward. This seems a little soupy, so we'll see. It may not be so chowdery, but more broth is always good. It keeps you warm inside. This recipe we inherited from Sarah Malum, and then we've modified it over time to become more of our own thing, and then I modified it again to make it suitable for dehydrating, for example, by leaving bacon out. Bacon, super greasy things like that do not keep well. And so it's tough to have them in dehydrated food that you want to sit in your backpack for 5 days. Let's see how it tastes. It tastes really good, Although it rehydrated very poorly, it's basically just still in chunks in flavored broth. But it's got the same nutritional value and it tastes good. Probably more of a success than the quinoa was.
Welcome to the High Sierra. That is going to be it for day number 2.